Well, good morning, my dear friends. I pray that you are going to have a blessed Saturday, that you just enjoy the beauty, not the heat, the beauty of this beautiful world that God has given us. You know, the scripture tells us that God has given us all things to enjoy. And he's not talking about, drugs and alcohol and, addictions. He's talking about all the things to enjoy. You look out at the green grass that we can have in our yards. We have beautiful trees. We live in a place that is very similar to Jesus when he grew up and he ministered. Of all the places in the world that God would send his son, he sent him to a place that is identical to the Middle East, and it's identical to us. Do you know that my father-in-law used to work for the ag department, and there would be people from their ag department, from Israel, that would come over and look at what we would do with our crops and how we watered them, because the regions are identical, and they wanted to learn from us. Well, he would take them around, he would teach them what, was going on here in our desert, and you know what they did? They would go back over to Israel, they would refine it and develop it even better, and then they would come back and share it with us here. Jesus chose to walk in an area just like ours. Isn't that amazing? When Marcy and I were there together, we were in a bus and we were driving down the road heading towards Jericho, and I just kept looking out and I just leaned over to her and I said, "This looks exactly like home." And the beauty of it is we are living in a time that has AC, air conditioners. Jesus didn't. But you know what? He chose this place. He didn't, and he chose to be born in a stable, live in the desert. Well, I'll tell you what, we live in a special place. Beautiful winters. We look forward to the winter, but don't let the summer cause you to lose sight of who Jesus is, because he walked in a place just like this. We've been looking at Galatians chapter 4. We finished it yesterday, actually. And now we saw that Paul was trying to tell the people that there are two systems. There's a system of bondage by the law, and then there's the system of liberty by faith in what Jesus has done. And yesterday he so eloquently put it to us that the two cannot coexist in harmony. He gave the example of Abraham and not having faith and taking the suggestion of Sarah and having a child with Hagar, and that God finally says you have to cast them out. You can't have them live together, because the first one persecuted the promise. And that's still today. And Satan wants to persecute us, and we need to just say, I'm not going to fall into those traps of Satan, because I don't want to lose out on what God has for me. Well, what does God have for me? Where does he want us to stand? One verse today, Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty by which Christ has made us free, and do not be entangled again with the yoke of bondage. All the do's and don'ts to try to get acceptance from God is bondage, and yet God has given us liberty. Now, we have liberty to read the Bible or not to read the Bible. We have liberty to pray or not to pray. But in their culture, you had to. And in our culture, we get to go to church. We get to read the Bible. We get to pray because we love the Lord. And I hope today that you take advantage of that. I hope tomorrow that you take advantage and come to church. 8 o'clock. Bring your mask. We'll take your temperature to make sure you're okay. And we'll just have a good old time together. And if Jesus can do it without air conditioning, and people across the border can do it without air conditioning, even if we have air conditioning, we can do it too. Even if we don't have air conditioning, we can do it too. I remember one summer when we were on Main Street, the church was on fire, and I mean literally. And so the whole summer almost the whole summer, we were out in the parking lot meeting through the summer. And you know what? We survived. We made it. And we're going to survive this pandemic. We're going to make it. We're going to put smiles on our face, and we're going to shine the light of Jesus. Because why? Because we're standing in that liberty and in that grace that God has set us free in. So enjoy the Lord this day. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And may the Lord bless you and shine his face upon you. And may you, that's right, you know what I'm going to say. You know it. And may you go out and shine his glory on other people as well. Have a blessed day. Bye now.